Hello and welcome to another video from sickmaths.co.uk, where you can find lots of free GCSE and A-level maths videos. This one's about speed, time, distance and the graphs you can make about them. So let's talk about speed first of all, because if you know this formula you can work out all these other formulas, and to remember this formula isn't very difficult because there is a nice trick to remember it. Well, as you can see, this formula says speed equals distance divided by time, right? Now you see that also on a speed dial in any car or motorbike or whatever. And what do you see on a speed dial? Well, you see the speed is measured in kilometers per hour or miles per hour, which is another way of saying the distance, the kilometers is the distance bit, divided by the time, which is hours. Okay, so distance divided by time is the typical way to measure speed. Okay, so that's that. So that's an easy way to remember. Distance divided by time. Distance divided by time is the way to measure speed. Now once you've got this formula, you can rearrange the formula, okay, easily to get the formulas for distance and time. Okay, if you're not sure how to do that, well, all you need to know is a little bit about equations. Okay, if you're not sure, if you don't know anything about equations, just go to the sickmaths.co.uk website and go to basic equations video, the basic equations video I should say, and you'll see how to do what I'm about to do, which is rearrange the equation. I'm going to work out a formula for distance, which means I want distance by itself, which means I have to move this divide by times. Can you see the divide sign? There's the time. Divide by time goes to the other side, becomes times by time. Okay, so now you've got a new formula, which is distance equals times speed. Okay, or speed times time, whichever way you want to say it. Okay, now if you want a formula for time, you can do that easily as well. You take this times by speed, take it to the other side of this equals sign, and it becomes a divide by speed. So now we've got a formula for time for a given journey, which is equal to distance divided by speed in that given journey. Okay, so there are our three very important formulas for this topic. Let's move on to a distance time graph. Okay, distance time graph simply goes up as we go away from a certain place and goes down when we go back towards that place, and if we're not moving towards or away from the place, that means we're moving still. That's what a distance time graph does. So you can see D for distance measured in kilometers and time measured in hours going across. Okay, now what is this graph telling us? It's just saying for 1 hour I travelled towards this place. Let's say this is my house I'm starting from, and I'm going to a shop that's very far away, 45 kilometers away. Okay, so it took me an hour to travel to this shop, which is 45 kilometers away, and then I had a rest for a while, and then I went back. Okay, and how long did it take me to go back? Well, that's 2:30 to 4 o'clock, so there's 1.5 hours to go back, but travelling the same distance, 45 kilometers back. Okay, so that's what's happening in this graph. But we can actually calculate a few things like the speed. Let's work out the speed at each of these points. Well, the speed for section A, well, is calculated like any other speed, which is the distance for that journey divided by the time taken for that journey. So the distance is 45, travel 45 kilometers in 1 hour. So 45 distance, 1 hour is the time, 45 divided by 1 is 45. So the speed is 45 kilometers an hour. Now another way of working that out very quickly is to realize that speed is actually just the distance traveled in 1 hour effectively. Okay, so if I've done 45 kilometers in 1 hour, automatically I can say we were moving in section A at 45 kilometers per hour. For section B, it's really obvious. Sorry. The speed is obviously 0 because we're not moving at all, are we? We're not moving towards or away from a place, so automatically the speed is 0. Okay, and for the final leg of the journey, we're doing another 45 kilometers just to get back. Okay, and we take 1.5 hours, so 1.5 hours. So 45 divided by 1.5, as it says, distance divided by time. So distance divided by the time, okay, is equal to 30 kilometers per hour. I know it's kilometers per hour because everything was measured in kilometers and hours. Okay, so finally, for the last bit of our video, we got this question. If travelling 87 kilometers at 36 kilometers an hour, how long will the journey take? Well, let's just make clear what information we have and what we want to know. If travelling 87 kilometers means we want to travel, the distance travelled in the journey is 87 kilometers, and we go at a speed of 36 kilometers. Okay, how long will a journey take? Well, how long is basically asking for the time. So I write t equals question mark. I'll write it like this so to make things clear what I know and what I want to find out, because it's not always so obvious from the words. To look back and forth to the words is a little bit not so efficient, but if you look at just the pure information, it's even better. It gets you the answers quicker. So what's the speed? What's the formula for working out time? Time is equal to distance divided by speed. Okay, so time is equal to distance divided by speed, which is 87 divided by 36. Okay, which is equal to 2 and 15 over 36. Okay, so it's basically 2 hours and that much more of the third hour. So 2 hours is that bit there. Now what's 15 out of 36 times 60 minutes? Because that will calculate how many minutes of the hour I've got on top of the 2 hours. So 15 over 36 times 60 is equal to 25. So overall the journey took 2 hours and 25 minutes. Okay, and that is the end of the